Right.
So, hi everybody. Welcome to our SOC Talks with Joy and Sean. And we have a special guest with you guys here today. You can't wait till you hear. And how you doing, Sean?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. I'm doing
absolutely.
awesome. So, and our special guest here today is Mr. Gregg Bryers.
Hey, good morning, all. Coming from Atlanta, Georgia today.
Yeah, so we're excited to have you here today and kind of pass a few things back and forth between you and ask you a few questions. And, one of the things we do with this platform, Greg, is we just kind of want people to see us in the natural form, not kind of like anything scripted. And we've all discovered that we all have our same ups and downs, and we all have our things that work and things that don't work. And we have a good time with this. So I'm real excited. We've been doing this since the first part of August, right after convention. It's been kind of our thing. But since we have you on here today, we want to kind of ask you some questions from your beginning days with Send Out Cards.
That's right. It's my pleasure.
Yeah. When you and Melanie first started out with Send Out Cards, tell us how that venture even started.
We were living in Houston, Texas, and actually in the same neighborhood as Callie Teagarden, who you all know, the runner-up of the year this year. And Callie somehow got Melanie to come see a presentation. Melanie had been given a Heisman for weeks and weeks and weeks, but ultimately they got together and Melanie signed up with Send Out Cards. She thought it was exactly what she was looking for because it was a low entry cost. It didn't force her into maybe a lotion and potion where there was inventory, and she felt a real connection with the whole one thing. To be honest with you, what we do at Send Out Cards, and I believe that was somewhere around 9 years ago. And then we befriended Callie, and actually Callie is now an avid scuba diver as well, and she and her husband will be joining us in Curacao here in a couple of days for a week.
Nice. Nice.
So what did you have any aha moments as you were diving into Send Out Cards that really kind of took, I think we lose a lot of people, I think, up front because they don't have any success or somebody says no to them. So did you have any aha moments as you started your Send Out Cards venture that you kind of went, that took us kind of to the next level or took us to another level?
That's a great question. And for me, it was probably two things. So I didn't engage right away when Melanie joined the company, but I certainly supported her and sat back and watched. And we always say Melanie is certainly at a level with CEO because she's been in and around my conversations for 25 years. And, I kind of sat back and watched, and I realized, Sean, there's two really aha moments that I'll speak to. When I began using this system in corporate America, I actually have always had my own consulting business as well. And I would do side gigs like leadership training. I'd go in and get under the hood of the company and do some consulting. So one of my ahas, the second one was actually even bigger, but maybe my first aha, I went on an interview with a company for a consulting gig, and the COO of the company and I had worked together in the past. He brought me in, and lo and behold, the interview consisted of about 15 people interviewing me.
Mm-hmm.
Some multiple people interviews, some one-on-one. And for this particular look under the hood kind of a gig, these people did not want somebody to come in and look under the hood. So all the interviews were very interesting because they were more of a fact-finding mission on how to keep me out at night. So when I got back home, I literally sent a personal card. I did some searching and I grabbed some pictures and sent a personal card to each and every one of them. And the COO I included, to each and every one of them, I included some kind of a gift, brownies, caramels, coffee cup with a shaped like a shotgun shell for the guy that was a big hunter. Yeah, it was easy to sit in his office.
I hope you didn't take that wrong. You better hire me, or
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The guy's office was like a museum of dead animals, so I knew he was an avid hunter. And that landed a pretty significant sideline gig for me, and
okay.
that was probably my first aha. Because prior to that, yeah, I would use the system for cards and whatnot. Keeping in mind, as an executive in corporate America, it was not the I'd like residual income that drew me at the time personally into it, other than supporting Melanie. And if you want to hear the second aha moment, I'll take a minute and tell you that.
Sure, absolutely.
And this one's actually in Cody Bateman's book. And it's either chapter 11 or 12. I get it mixed up. Excuse me. So in corporate America, we had taken a company when I joined from about $200 million a year to 1.6, almost 1.7 billion over the course of 10 years, nine and a half years. And I ran operations. And within this healthcare support organization, we had 4,000 employees, probably 3,700 at least were call center employees. And if you know anything about call centers, turnover extremely high,
Right.
And it can be a tough business.
Mm-hmm.
So we obviously had turnover issues, and I ran one of the divisions in the company. And so I said, it would be nice to sit here and tell you the only thing I did was engage, send out cards, and I turned it around 33%. That's obviously not true. When you're looking at turnover, something as crucial as that, there were several steps we did. But I will tell you that one of the important steps was to realize three things. That would be an anniversary date. That would be a birthday. That would be a holiday. The fourth thing would be what I used to call the caught in the act cards.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when I would go to an operation, my motto was from the janitor to the manager, not backwards. So the first thing I would do is I would just walk the floor. And over the course of many years, I'd get my hugs and ask people about their families. And I quickly realized cards were all over their cubicles, always. You send a card to one of these employees. So it really was one of the key parts, because it is about relationships, and it's about appreciation. It's about gratitude for the people that work for you at any level. I think the example in Cody's book is a big card that I had sent to our custodian / janitor in one of our large 500-person call centers. And I had gotten to know him really well and his family. And I remember saying in the card, "You are as important as anybody in this building." And that was, Sean, that was probably at least 8 years ago. And he is still employed at the Austin, Texas facility today. Just a fantastic story. An immigrant that brought his kids to learn and be an athlete in America. And send out cards became an important part, one of the important building blocks of that retention. The back end, the dollar end of that story is we had a 33% improvement, which put several $1 million directly to the EBITDA bottom line of the company. So those are big aha moments.
So how do you get that message across to somebody you're talking to that maybe has a high level position? Because obviously it doesn't cost a lot, but you can't put a cost on it because it is so valuable. And I used it when I was in the banking world. I used it, same type of way with my branches and people, and you would see the cards and the same thing. But if somebody just doesn't get it, that they should show appreciation to your clients, what would you say to them besides smacking them up the head?
It's really an interesting question. And believe it or not, I just went through a mock role playing with Super Dave Smith and Cody Bateman last week. And I said, I'm going to give you a Sendogo presentation, and we're going to be presenting to a major corporation in America. And the real trick, and this happens at every level of business, whether it's a small entrepreneur or a big executive at different levels. I don't particularly, Gregg Bryers does not see anything as the sales, as I'm making a sale and I am pushed to make a close. I tend to do the assessment and solution conversation. So if I'm in a room with somebody, I say, let me understand your business and let me understand the levers that it takes to impact your business. And quite frankly, Mr. CEO, I want to know what the levers are that crank your executive bonus and compensation plans. And if you would have sold to me in my old organization that I needed this to appreciate my customers, it would have, if I had not gone down that assessment, it would have fallen probably fairly flat on me, because in my old business, 80-90% of the business was procurement through governmental offices, which meant it was driven by RFP laws, not necessarily relationships. Now, relationships are important to keep, but in that company, as we talked about, what would have driven my compensation level would have been things that affected the bottom line. So that would have been turnover and things like that. So I think God gave us, I didn't coin this, but I love this. God gave us one mouth and two ears for a reason. And I would say first identify a need or a solution that somebody wants.
Okay.
What are you struggling with in your business? And we're talking on the business side right now.
Right.
And then gear your business, okay. And in my case, it would have been if turnover is one of your key pain points, I certainly have brought this book for you. I want you to point to chapter 11. And there's a story in that about me and about what I use with send out cards. The other thing I would want to tell SOC Nation is when you talk about the compensation side of the business, Sean, and Joy, there are a couple of ways to think about it. Some people have sat back and said, well, I don't make a ton of money and I don't know if this is for me, without thinking about the effect it has on their current occupation as well. So if you take somebody like a Gail Zencat, for instance, right? You have to double what you're earning in send out cards and the impact it has on your real estate business. And when I look at a Gail or someone like that in our organization, I say, wow, Gail does very good on income within send out cards, but look at the impact she's had financially within her Steve's own real estate business. So I tend to measure things more holistically.
Right.
And I happen to think that send out cards is the perfect handoff to any business, any other networking marketing company, to be honest with you. It doesn't matter. We're a great handoff to a lotion and potion or a weight loss company. I would urge people to listen, find out what people's needs are, and then at the end of the day, offer them a solution that has a track record. Pull somebody's video or something and said, here's Gail Zentek in the real estate field, here's Chip Barkell, here's Gregg Bryers on retention, and I'll leave you with that. And I don't tend to have, personally, I'm not in the old world, they used to call them tin men. I'm not a hard closer. I think you need this. I'm very glad that I had the opportunity to share this with you. And I go down the next kind of the Mark Hunter at convention conversation. What would it make sense for our next steps to be?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Gregg, I tell you said some great things here, which, even from the very beginning, when you sent the card to those 16 members that were interviewing you, it's obvious you took time to understand what each of them needed, just by the gift that you sent. So you're not just like, I'm sending a card and saying thank you. You're actually really looking at what people want and need and approaching it that way, and thanking them in a way that's going to be more personal than just something generic. So I think that's like really key. And understanding the business, I really think that was a great thing too, because, our business is not their business. And how can you intelligently talk about it without knowing what it is that they really want and what they really need? So, great great tips for everybody. And you kind of answered one of the questions we were going to answer is like, what advice would you give a new affiliate? I think you summed it up already, and just, let them talk. And it's interesting how everything winds around to send out cards. To give you kind of an example, this week I was speaking, I speak on relationship marketing for a group where it couldn't be about send out cards. It's just kind of like knowledge that's going to help them understand how important relationships, appreciation, everything is. Well, in this room of people, when I was finished and questions started, it went right back to send out cards. And they were asking me, about send out cards and how we do it. And I felt very awkward because I was asked not to talk totally about send out cards, It was but people were asking.
But it's so good.
Now, I mean, it was a great place to be, that was it. And I ended up booking 3 appointments from that one opportunity, just talking about appreciation and gratitude. So, but yeah, it was kind of funny. It was an awkward moment. It's like, they don't want me to, but you're asking me, I have to answer your question.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
Yeah.
It is a very simple concept. And I think that people, look, I didn't come from the network marketing environment. I some 5 years ago, probably bumped in and began my friendship with Cody Bateman. And I don't pressure myself typically into, you need to have this because I'm thinking about my residual income, or, it's simply, I owe you the right to show you something that's both really cool and that may have an impact on your life, personally, professionally, and otherwise. And it's kind of cool that it helps make the world a better place. I don't pressure myself to the close. Don't take me wrong. I am as extremely competitive as you could imagine. But I just don't tend to pressure myself into so much. I know that we're running for goals and leadership retreats and rank and all of that. And I get that. And I applaud everyone doing that. I would, recommend, honestly, just learning. It's really life, and it's like this in life. It's about the fundamental. There are traits, measurable traits that define leadership in any organization, whether it be sports or work or play. And the fundamentals, games are won in the practice field, not necessarily on the game field. And it's the same in this business and network marketing. There are fundamentally things that you should be doing every day with your business. And that includes, when you're getting no's and you're down, that includes attaching yourself to people like Joy and Sean and Jordan and Callie and Gail and all the names that we know, Darla and Susan Day, and attach yourself, April Brougham, I could go on forever. Attach yourself to someone. There are so many groups out in the marketplace relative to send out cards. I think people could use more of the collaboration of people of the same minds and going through the same things. And I am always wanting to play the guy on the racquetball court that's better than me. And that's what I would do if I were starting out and send out cards as well.
Gotcha. So have you learned anything from the network marketing side of the business that you've taken into the corporate business world? Is there anything you've learned or that you said, oh, I like that, or I like how that's done, and I'm going to incorporate something that I've learned from doing network marketing? Joy, I stumped him. All right.
Yeah, you did. I don't know that.
Yes.
Because I came in, nearly about 5 years ago, and by that point, obviously, my executive career. Let's say this, Sean. Here's the same between network marketing and corporate. Let me try to go there. And I was lucky enough to either instinctually know that or learn it along the lines before I knew or got involved in network marketing. I can tell you, I was the Heisman guy. I was like, get that stuff away from me. I don't need residual income. My residual income at the time was tied to bonuses and stocks and what the stock did. That's why you got to listen. So I had an argument with one of our large past leaders that said, you don't support Melanie because you're not sharing the contact list. And I said, in all due respect, you're not even qualified to close my contact list, because the minute you go in there with residual income in a boardroom, you may be lucky to have somebody say, hey, my spouse might want to try this card thing. But because it's the residual income within network marketing doesn't drive their income, then you need to learn how to show me to increase my earnings per share so my stock will go up, right?
Right.
Or reduce the turnover so my bonus will go up.
Okay.
So that goes back to that listening. But the thing that is the same in network marketing and in corporate is, quite frankly, all about Cody's books. It's about relationships.
Right.
It's about relationships internally in corporate America. Obviously, our structure at 200 million morphed tremendously as we got to closer to the $2 billion company. It does change. You're forced to change. The company had metamorphosized several times, obviously, through that. The one constant was that, and I remember several meetings, regional and national meetings with my teams that would get a little disappointed about the change. And I'd say, we're going to first agree to what you love and missed about the old company doesn't exist anymore. It will change again going forward. But the one constant is having to have relationships both internally in the corporations to get things done, and having relationships externally with what I call partners, not vendors, but with your partners who support you and your clients. The relationship part of corporate America is as key as any other piece of it.
Right. Okay. Good.
That's good to know. Hey, Greg, when you were approached, I'm sure it was a long time in discussions, what made you consider taking the CEO role with Send Out Cards?
That's a great question. So, like I said at convention, longest interview of my life. We talked about it for 2.5 years. we literally, Cody and I had this conversation for 2.5 years. And as everyone knows, timing is a very important thing in life and in business. And it just so happened, we would go through these conversations. I'm like, I'm not so sure you're ready and yet, but and so for honestly 2.5 years, never gave the man a resume.
Did you send him cards?
He's never seen my resume.
Did you send
Have
him
I
cards?
sent Cody cards?
Yeah.
Oh, I've sent Cody many cards over the years, and we have a unique relationship that just it was just very natural how it happened. I remember sitting in my hotel room over coffee with him in Las Vegas, Nevada one time. And what I meant to say to him, this is a really funny story. What I meant to say to him was, that wouldn't happen in my business model. What came out of my mouth, one of the funniest stories ever, came out of my mouth was, well, if you had a real company, you would. And I went on. And I got that infamous Cody Bateman smirk. And I'm like, I actually meant something a little different. And we still laugh and joke about that. But ultimately, the timing happened. So as corporate America would go, I had our organization had a change. We had a parent corporation. We had a change at the chairman of the board. We had a change at our CEO spot. We had a change at the COO spot. We acquired a company that it was just the vision, mission, and values of my organization, and I spent almost 11 years building, had changed. And my CEO, who I had worked for before because of a relationship, had been gone for about 2 years. And about at the same time as that was really reaching a point that I had to go make a change because my heart wasn't, the mission, the values had all changed. And I don't like to do things that I don't believe in. And it was just the perfect timing of where Send Out Cards was at the time. And I remember Cody giving me a phone call in October of last year. And he said, "Bud, I think I'm ready." And I said, "It's amazing you said that. I just left my company a week ago."
Wow.
It was just,
Wow.
He said, "What do you plan to do?" I said, "I don't know yet. I've got a year and a half to figure it out, but I don't know yet." And we began talking. That was October, maybe mid-October. And January 1st, I started sending out cards. It was timing. It was, I will tell you, it was Cody and I, Jody, Melanie, we would all tell you that this all happened at a higher level than any one of the four of the Batemans and Bryers. This thing was divine. I am not kidding here. And look, it was not an easy one to come into. But I am so proud of where we are almost 10 months later than we were coming in. And we are send out cards, and we're awesome.
Nice. That's a great story. I'll be happy everyone watches this and hears your story on that, because that's a great, kind of piecing it all together, and you're right. I think everything happens for a reason. We talk about that all the time when we send cards. The day you send that card, it's not the day they need it. The day they get it's when they need it.
Yep.
And that's just the way it happens. So, well, hey, we're going to wrap up with one more good question here for you, Gregg. What does make send out cards different than any other network marketing company out there?
That's a great question, and the statement is true. We are different than any other network marketing company out there. I think it is. I think, quite honestly, it's a few things. One is the one thing. 99.99999% of the people that I meet within this organization comes from the place of the heart. They're just good people. And I'm not saying that there are not great people in other network marketing companies. What I'm saying is our company is really built around that heart. I mean, it is the mission of the company. And we're going to be doing a lot of different things and creating a lot of other opportunities for our affiliates to make income with and around send out cards. But I think it starts with the heart. It starts with what our convention was about last year. That's part of what makes us different. We make decisions based on the one thing. That's what's different about it. Some of the other differences about it is, and I alluded to this earlier, I think that send out cards is the best handshake of any business, including another network marketing company. So it's not typical that a guy from Shackley wants to introduce you to a guy from another weight loss plan or whatever it is, right? I mean, that makes us very unique. The other thing that makes us very unique is we're not, the good side of not being in a high inventory business and carrying $1,000 of inventory is that we're a low market entry. So it takes, that's why we talk about billion cards and beyond. It takes more to create your longer term residual income. Jordan Adler will always tell you that the big money's in the little money, and then that takes time and commitment and send out cards. And I urge everyone to not only measure that's why we brought front end money back into the plan. We'll continue to do that so that you can have the time to build the longer term residual. But I would urge everyone to also utilize it in whatever business they may be involved in and supplement your income through both sides. So I think that's some of the things that makes us different. It's just who we are. Some of that are challenges, like, you're not selling a $1,200 weight loss package, right? You're selling smaller packages. But I look at Jordan Adler, and he's a perfect example of the big money's in the small money. So I think those are some of the key things that make it. We're also innovative and nimble, and you're going to be into 2020 going to be seeing a lot more opportunity to create revenue streams for yourselves as affiliates.
Nice.
But I think we're sticky, to your point, we're a sticky product, because I have people that, this December will be 14 years for me, and I still have people that I signed up at my mortgage company that are still using it, to this day. Because of what you talk about, it works well in their mortgage business. I mean, it's growing their mortgage business. So,
right.
Or whatever business you do. So,
yeah. Great. So, well, hey, Gregg, I can't tell you how excited we are to have you on here. You were our first guest on our SOC Talks, so we're excited for that. Starting at the top, man. It was awesome.
Right.
Don't tell Cody that.
Yeah.
You almost got there. You're almost to the summit.
Yeah. There you go.
I appreciate you having me.
Well, thanks for
Oh,
being
yeah.
on. So
Anytime. We'll have you back one day because I think we have lots of questions that we'd like to continue to help with the affiliates. And yeah, what you shared with us here today is very valuable. We really
absolutely.
appreciate that, and I think anybody who listens to this is going to really appreciate your transparency and your stories and and your insight. We're very glad you're in the position you're in, and we are here for the long haul. So we're excited to be a part of it as well. So.
Absolutely.
I'm glad to have you both. We're glad to have all of SOC Nation. I'll close with the fact that we are very, very focused on the user experience and on our affiliates' ability to create income for our due mission and send out cards, which of course is acting on your promptings and making the world a better place and creating a revenue stream for your financial independence.
Very good. Well, we have nothing more to say. That's a wrap. Thank you, Greg, very much. See you next week, everybody.
All right. Go to
Thanks,
work,
guys.
everybody.